Welcome to Hooton Park for our second instalment of race action from this popular Cheshire circuit here in Ellesmere Port, just 400 yards from junction 6 of the M53 motorway. Last month we kicked off the season with dominant victories in the junior and senior Rotax classes, including a dramatic start in Heat 1 of the seniors final and the last laps in both the Bambino and Rotax 177 finals.
Slide from Rathbone, but everybody's getting through just about. Oh, that's Eads, who's actually right at the back of the grid, sliding off the road. Whoa, Miles goes airborne. Kinder's going to get squeezed. Oh, he's actually spun it, and everybody else is trying to avoid him. Lee went in. I think Knowles went in there as well. Little bit of a jockey for position between the two of them, but Dransfield's going to have to work at this on the last lap, and a bit of a run wide, that'll do. Dransfield into third, nice comeback, and he looks at, oh, problems as Roger Moore trying to get there as well, and Roger Moore turned, but unfortunately Abbott was already in the corner. James Dunn is going to take the victory up front, which he does. Let's look. I'm afraid that's pretty cut and dry, isn't it? It's a really interesting battle into this last lap. Can Cannon overhaul Jepson? It's going to be very close indeed as Cannon looks one way, looks the other. Jepson has got one eye on his shoulder, and round they go. They both go. Oh my goodness. Both drivers have spun it. And surely Elsie Gannon might just get an opportunity to take it away from both of them. Now let's have a look. Was that a mistake from both drivers, or did one of them instigate it? So you can see that Jepson is looking to cover to defend. It's the slightest of love taps. It's completely unintentional. Both drivers end up sliding together on the greasy surface. What a dramatic end to the race here. You've got to feel for Cannon. That is absolutely not what he intended to do at all. But Jepson is going to hang on for the victory despite spinning off on the last lap.
The first race up this month is Heat 1 of the junior Rotax class, and earlier I spoke to the round 1 winner James Ollier. I started by asking James about his comfortable victory last month and any challenges he's expecting this month.
Yeah, a win's always a nice start to the season and gives us a good pointer for where we are and where everyone else is. But Tom Holden is here this month, a good driver in a good team, and he'll definitely keep us on our toes and get us pushing to find the extra few tenths throughout the lap.
And Tom came out on top, didn't he, in October when we were here filming at the end of last season. A little bit of a challenge on the last lap. Didn't quite go your way, but you'll be looking for something different, I think, this time.
Yeah, I tried looking down the inside when he was sort of caught up behind one of the back markers. But no, I really enjoy fighting with him, pulling away, and him trying to catch me, and I'm trying to catch him.
And tell us a little bit about your history in karting. When did you start karting, and how long you've been racing here at Hooton Park?
Well, I went out first when I was 5 or 6. Finished last in my first race. My dad could have probably run quicker than me, and I sort of carried on through cadets, micro, max. Now I'm in juniors, the 3rd year, and yeah, trying to win it in the Indikart Plus.
And you're how old now?
I'm 14.
So 14 now, but I think they brought the senior age forward, didn't they? So you could go, I think, seniors next year. Would you plan to do that, or are you going to stick with juniors?
Well, we'll see how things go this year, but obviously seniors you race against adults, so they're a lot bigger, a lot more muscle, and so yeah, it'd be quite a challenge for us to go to seniors this year and maybe next year.
And for those people that wouldn't understand why that makes a difference in karting, it is quite a physical thing, isn't it, driving a kart? And the faster the kart goes, the more physical it is, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously they'd find it a lot easier in more extreme conditions. So sort of when it's a lot hotter in the summer, they'd find it easier to sort of muscle the kart round and keep control of the kart. And in the rain, when you're fully having to fight the kart, they've got more build to them, so they can keep it under control easier.
Okay, well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're kicking things off with the first heat of juniors. It is Tom Holden on pole from James Ollier, Whitfield, Stout, Catling, Morgan Hudson, Gillam, Gordon, Doherty and James Kell. Look out for Molly Pugh from P11 and Lewis Sumner from P15 particularly, who is well out of position. They come down to turn 1. Do they get through there cleanly? No, they do not. Zane Stout, the 7 kart, he started P5, he's on the grass. Kell there in the light blue suit, he's on the grass. It looks like Archie Doherty was turned round on the 51 car, and Ben Gordon had to take avoiding action. So all kicking off through turn 1. Let's catch up with the lead group. Here they are. It is Ollier that leads it. He's taken the lead going around the outside, got a great switchback through turn one, and that's Hooton now down in second place. Catling is third. We're on board with Lewis Sumner in this one. That's the 22 kart in front of us. That's Ben Gordon, who had to take the avoiding action through turn one, but he's still running. Down to Vauxhall, Catling down the inside of Hooton for a place. He makes that stick. He's through to second. Whitfield's through to third. We're back on board with Lewis Sumner down to turn two at the gate. Molly Pugh spun it, and avoiding action being taken again by Ben Gordon. Oh, it's all kicking off early in this one. This is a replay of the start, though, from Lewis Sumner's kart. That was Doherty turned round. That's Kell on the grass. Lomax is next to us now. Goes past him. That's Ben Gordon. And then we've got Zane Stout on the grass as well. He's made up 5 places, literally, starting P15 in the opening turn. And sometimes in karting, when you are starting down the grid through turn one, you just take it easy and you'll make up a load of cheap places. Pictured there on screen was the championship leader, James Ollier, who is also the race leader going through lap 2. Pictured is George Daniels. He went through the line in 8th. In front of him is Ben Brock. Behind him now is the onboard cameraman, Lewis Sumner. We're back with that battle for second place. This is Catling in second. The man from Telford in Shropshire with Dan Whitfield on the 41 kart right in behind. Then Tom Hooton. He won't be happy with 4th from pole, that's for sure. And we're back on board here with Lewis Sumner, looking at the battle for 7th and 8th in front of us. That is Ben Brock on the 22 kart and George Daniels there on the 78. The lap record for Indikart Plus on the Comic tyres is held by James Ollier. He's just set the fastest lap, 36.711. And he seems to have the ability, as up the inside for second goes Whitfield. A little bit of contact with Catling, but Whitfield's held on to it. I think he'll be a getaway with that. I think that's okay. And another driver making up a place in Hooton hairpin is Lewis Sumner with the onboard camera. So Catling down to third, Whitfield up to second. Hooton will be looking to put a move to get himself back into the top 3 spots. Back on board here with Sumner. That's Ben Brock in front of us. This is the battle for 7th place. Battles all over the track, trying to keep up with it all. Talking about keeping up with it all, this is James Kell on the 52, back to 12th after that first lap incident where he was on the grass. And it looks like Morgan Hudson's through to 4th place. He is. Morgan Hudson is through to 4th. Tom Holden's been dropped a place, but Hudson is under investigation for causing contact with Tom Holden. So the clerk of the course has been on the radio. They're investigating that, and there may be a penalty looming. That's James Kell on the 52. There he is in the distance, going through the double apex. So good comeback for James. He's got a big gap, though, to make up. Look at that, he's some 5.6 seconds behind the karts in front. And indeed, Morgan Hudson will have a 1-place penalty applied to his finishing position at the end of the race. Clerk of the decision, I was going to say there. Well, he's making a decision. He's made it already. It's a 1-place penalty for Morgan Hudson, currently in 4th place. Looking at the battle for 7th, it's Sumner, Stout and Daniels. We've just seen Daniels and Stout's picture. Daniels from West Kirby on the Wirral, Zane Stout from Warrington, and Lewis Sumner from Southport. Drivers from all over. Zane Stout there on the 7 car. Don't forget, he was off on the grass through turn 1. So he's having to make a comeback. Fastest lap set by James Ollier again now, 36.264 on the 54 kart. This is the battle for 12th place. That's the 77 kart of Alfie Barron Oxbury, who's made his way past Oliver Lomax for 12th. Lomax now down to 13th, as you can see as they go through the line. Molly Pugh's lost her place. She's down to 15th now, and Ben Gordon's made up a place on that lap. So Molly with a few issues. That was we were looking at the battle for second. This is again the battle. We're looking at the on-board footage from Lewis Sumner in 7th place. That's the leader going through. 2nd and 3rd, Whitfield, Catling, then Hudson, Holden, then Charlie Gillam in 6th place. Lewis Sumner will go through the line, green suit, easy to pick out. Just gone through in 7th from Stout and Daniels right in behind. And then rounding out the top 10 is Ben Brock. Currently, that's the way things stand. Whitfield makes his way past Kasauri Vitarek. He's the only driver, by the way, on the 33 kart there who's on a Mini-Max engine, so severely underpowered. The only driver in the field, so it's effectively a test day for him. Not really racing as such, but going past him cleanly was Whitfield and Catling. They come through the line again. Whitfield with Catling and Hudson right behind him. Tom Holden's there and Vitarek's off in the final turn. Looks like he's spun it. In fact, we are told he's spun it all his own work, nobody near him. He will rejoin, but again, more of a test day for Kasauri. Dan Whitfield there on the 41, getting away from Adam Catling, so he's gapping Catling. Catling's gapping the karts behind. That's Hudson in 4th place and Holden. Holden comes alongside there, side by side into the S's. A little bit of contact between them. Hudson just manages to hold on through Stanlow. A little bit of contact again, looked like it anyway for me. 87 Tom Holden just touching the back of Morgan Hudson. You see Hudson's hand was in the air. He's not happy about that. We'll have another look. Side by side down to the S's. 6 and 1/2 a dozen another. That's the right line over the curb for Morgan Hudson. Now, was there a little bit of contact here? Maybe. Looks like there was just a slight bit of contact in the slow motion replay. Whether the officials have seen it or not, you can see as far as Hudson's concerned, he definitely felt contact, and taking advantage was Tom Holden. So Holden up to 4th, Hudson down to 5th, Charlie Gillam there, still there in 6th place. Ben Gordon rejoining from the pit lane. He's had a problem on the 22 kart. New lap record for Dan Whitfield on the 41 kart. And Zane Stout makes up a place on that lap on Lewis Sumner. This is that battle. Zane Stout from Warrington on the 7 kart. With Sumner now, green suit, white helmet, easy to spot. Up into Hooton hairpin one more time. 10 laps gone, 12 laps these heats. So a couple of laps remaining when James Oliver went through the line last time. Anyway, he's just gone through the line again, and that will be the last lap for Ollier. There is the race leader, James Ollier, championship leader as well. New lap record now by Tom Holden. So they've got the pace, the other drivers. This man, who's leading by an absolute stretch, he's got a 3-second lead, but he's not the fastest man on the track. Why is that? Why has he got such a lead? Well, it's because he's gapping people in the first 3 laps. He's effectively winning the race in the first 3 laps. That's something the other drivers have to take note of. What's he doing setup-wise? That means he's not the fastest man by the end of the race, but he's certainly the fastest at the beginning, gets the checkered flag. That's a great win for James Ollier, championship leader. He'll be happy with that. Whitfield through to 2nd, Catling 3rd, Holden with the fastest lap, new lap record in 4th from Hudson, and Charlie Gillam through in 6th place. Here comes the battle for 7th and 8th. That's Sumner ahead of Stout, so Sumner has made the place back on Zane Stout in the closing stages. The official result then looks like this. Ollier from Whitfield and Catling top 3, then comes Holden. Gillam has moved up a place because Morgan Hudson picked up that 1-place penalty, don't forget. He's dropped to 6 from Sumner, Stout, Daniels and Kell. That's heat 1 over and done with. More race action after this short break. The next race coming up is Heat 1 for Senior Rotax, and earlier in the day I caught up with the championship leader after round 1, Robbie Rathbone. Comfortable victory for you in the final last time, but there were a few challenges in the heats, weren't there?
Yes, there were many challenges in the last round. Thankfully on top in the final. It was quite a dominant day. Obviously here at Hooton we have a very wide selection of talent. There's a lot of people around and top class drivers everywhere.
And this weekend, anybody in particular you think will provide the challenge?
You've got to look at the whole grid here at Hooton. Everyone's, like I just said, very talented. There's a very wide age gap. Obviously we've got some young drivers and we've got some older drivers, we'll say, so we don't offend them. Okay. They are everywhere. It's class to see that we've got a big family in this track. Obviously we've got everyone around. Everyone knows everyone, and it's just nice to be around.
Yeah, it's a good camaraderie here. This is grassroots karting, isn't it? And motorsport. You know, it can get a little bit edgy when you get up to a sort of national level, but at club level, tends to be a lot of friendships made, isn't there? Yeah,
there's plenty of friendships, like I said then. I'm mates with everyone on that grid. I speak to everyone, and I speak to everyone in every other grid as well. I like to see myself as a very well-known person around that Hooton, and hopefully I can evolve around to that into other tracks.
Now we're thinking we might bring in a new rule shortly called the Robbie rule, which is if you spin off on the formation lap from pole, you've got to start last. What do you think of that rule?
Well, like I say, we all make mistakes. It happens to the best of us at times, clearly. I don't mind that rule being enforced. Hopefully I can bring some entertainment then to the plate.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Heat 1 of the Senior Rotax class is up next then, featuring Robbie Rathbone, but he's not on pole. That's Jack Hayes-Roberts on pole on the 88 kart from Rathbone. And then in 3rd place we've got Callum Kinder from Leo Jackson, Mackenzie Stevens, Louis Merricker, Alexander Merzian in P7. Troy Spencer goes off 8, so look for him to feature. Luke Davis is on 9th. Curtis Harding was 10th, the rest of the grid rounded out like this. Look for Christers Likens, that's an interesting name. He won the 177 race back in October, but has moved now into the 162 category. Do they all get through here cleanly? Not quite. Leo Jackson up the back of Callum Kinder, no damage done. He's got past Robbie Rathbone, and looks like Mackenzie Stevens passed Rathbone, but Rathbone has him straight back. It's Jack Hayes-Roberts then on the 88 kart that leads it. Callum Kinder is into second. Leo Jackson on the 63 up to third. Robbie Rathbone's dropped from second to fourth, the championship leader. Place is made up through the double apex. The 31 kart was Tommy Lee, and following him through was Troy Spencer, and it dropped, looked like Louis Merica back a couple of places, running wide through the double apex. Here they go then. Roberts, Hayes-Roberts from Kinder, Jackson, Rathbone, Stevens is in fifth place from Lee, Spencer, Merica, Merzian and Christers Likens now up into the top 10, the werewolf as I like to call him with a name like that. Curtis Harding is just outside the top 10 from Davis, Lewis Smith, Zach Bowker. On screen is Leo Jackson from Wrexham in North Wales. Wrexham, of course, what we call in this part of the world Ryan Reynolds country. That is the 63 of Leo Jackson with Robbie Rathbone, championship leader, hounding him from behind. Robbie will want to make up at least this one place, and here he comes down the inside and makes that place up. Oh, that's the race leader, Jack Hayes-Roberts. He's pulled off. He's got a mechanical failure, and Callum Kinder takes up the lead. Robbie Rathbone now up to second. Leo Jackson effectively back in a third, so that is the man pictured, Callum Kinder, the new race leader, the championship leader, back up to second. But what a disaster for Jack Hayes-Roberts, driven so well so far today, but he's pulled off. Well, I say he's pulled off, he's got going again, he's running again, so maybe it was a chain, he's put the chain back on, he's got it running again, but has dropped all the way down the field, as you'll see as they go through the line. Senior max lap record held by Robbie Rathbone. He's just set the fastest lap in this one so far. Got a feel for Jack Hayes-Roberts though, haven't you? Unbelievable, drops from first to 16th on that lap, that's so far. Oh, in fact now he's out of the race in the infield. Where is he? There he is, you can just make him out on the infield. You see him on the left of these drivers that go past. There he is, just pushing his car out of the way. He's very sensibly doing that, knows that he doesn't want to impact the race, doesn't want to have that section of the track under wave yellows so people can't overtake. Oh, what a disaster for Jack Hayes-Roberts. Got a feel for him, but he's shown his pace early on. Let's see what he can do in the Heat 2 coming up later, and the final, of course, which is where the trophies are divvied up. But that won't help him in his quest for championship points, because the top 10 on the grid for the final score championship points 10-1, and then the top 10 in the final itself score 20-2, 2 points between each position. So it is important, these heats are important to give yourself the best grid position and the best chance of scoring points for that grid position before the final starts. 5 laps gone as they go through the line. Kinder, Rathbone and Jackson from Mackenzie Stevens and Troy Spencer there 4th and 5th. Then comes Tommy Lee, Christers Likens up to 7th now from his starting position of P11. Then Louis Merica, Curtis Harding and Luke Davis rounding out the top 10. This is a battle for the lead though. It is Callum Kinder. Now we know Kinder's got a lot of pace from round 1. He started that final on P18 because he had problems in the heats himself, and came through to finish 6th by the end, so we knew he had pace, and he is showing it right now. He led by a 10th through the line last time, but this time he's got nearly 4 tenths, 0.371. Leo Jackson further back, 1.2 behind. Then comes Spencer and Stevens. Troy Spencer made up a place on that lap. Mackenzie Stevens dropped one. If you see the name number, the position rather, highlight in green, then the drivers have made up at least one place. You see it highlighted in red, they've lost at least one place. So Stevens down to 5th. We're looking here at the battle for what looks like, well, that's a battle for 12th. That's Lewis Smith on the 81 leading that. And talk about leading that, Robbie Rathbone out of shot of the cameras has just taken the race lead. He's the new race leader as we were concentrating on that battle for 12th. Here it is. This is the battle for the lead then, and Robbie Rathbone's made his way past. So Rathbone leads it from Kinder in 2nd. Leo Jackson was 1.2 behind, he's now 0.9, so he's quicker than the drivers in front of him. This could be a 3-way battle for the win here in this opening heat of the day for the senior Rotax drivers. No silverware, no trophies for finishing anywhere in a heat, but it does affect your grid positions for the final. And of course, where you start that final on the grid, you will score championship points. So although there's no silverware for winning a heat, the grid positions are based on the results of the heats. So that's why this is important. Robbie Rathbone will want to try and get pole position for the final and ensure he gets 10 points already before the race starts, and then in the race, if you win that final, you score 20, second is 18, third 16, and so on. It is an interesting dynamic, different from most other karting championships where you just finish points, or score points rather, in the final wherever you finish. In this championship, there's a target, and it's to finish in the points effectively, a bit like we see in Formula 1. If you finish in the top 10, you're in the points, so I do like that. What a battle this is in the midfield. That's Alex Merzer, easy to pick out there in the red suit. That was a battle for 9th place with Curtis Harding just leading that one. Back here on the battle for the lead, Robbie Rathbone on the 8 kart, the 53 kart is Callum Kinder, 63 is Leo Jackson, so not much to choose between them. Bit of a gap back to Troy Spencer, 3.2 seconds behind the leader as such. And he's gapping Mackenzie Stevens there in 5th place. This is that battle for 9th to 13 effectively. That's Harding, Merzer and America. Bowker's made a place up on Lewis Smith in that lap. And as I speak, going through the line, Troy Spencer set the fastest lap, 35.815. He's too far behind with just 2 laps to go as he went through the line. Just over 3 seconds now. He was further back than that, so Spencer's got some pace. We'll have to see how he converts that in Heat 2 in the final coming up later on, but certainly got the pace as the leaders head towards, this is the battle for 9th again. We're concentrating on that. They're the leaders going through the line on the last lap. And the starter held the last lap board out as they went through the line. This is the last lap coming up to Hooton hairpin for the last time. Up the inside for 2nd place. And that is the man from Wrexham, Leo Jackson, through to 2nd, dropping Kinder back to 3rd. Now, can Jackson put a move on Robbie Rathbone here in the final turn? I don't think he will. Couple of kart lengths doesn't seem a lot, but it's enough for Rathbone to hold on to the lead. He will do. Rathbone's going to take the win as they go through the line. From Leo Jackson through to 2nd on that last lap. Great drive by Leo. Callum Kinder drops to 3rd. He won't be happy with that. Troy Spencer sets the fastest lap, 2.3 seconds off the leaders in the end. That's quite interesting to see what he does later on. Mackenzie Stevens was 5th from Tommy Lee. Christopher Likens up from 11th to 7th. And Luke Davis, Lewis Smith made up, I think Lewis Smith made up 4 places on that last lap. That's the 88 kart of Jack Hayes-Roberts, the former race leader early in the race. We'll have to see how he converts his raw pace into a comeback next time around. So the official result looks like this. The prime movers, Troy Spencer made up 4 places in 4th. Tommy Lee made up 6 places from 12th to 6. Christopher Likens made up 4, as did Lewis Smith. Welcome back to Hooton Park for the Indikart Plus Championship. Heat 2 for the junior Rotax class. On screen now, these grid positions made up from the finishing positions of the earlier Heat 1. So Ollier from Whitfield, Catling, Holden, Gillam, Hudson, Sumner, Stout, Daniels and James Kell in the top 10. The rest of the grid looks like this. Molly Pugh lost a couple of places in that first heat. Look for her to make up some place. You can see her in the pink helmet. She'll be looking to make up some places in this one. Do they all get through there cleanly? No, that's James Kell running wide again. He did exactly the same thing in the first race. He was on the grass. You'll make him out. There he is coming through turn 2 at the gate in the background, the light blue suit. So James Kell right at the back of the field once more, got it all to do. He came through to finish 10th in that first heat. It was a great effort by him, I have to say. But a lot of work to do again in this second heat. That's James Ollier out front, by the way. He's leading it from Adam Catling there in 2nd. That looks like Tom Holden up to 3rd place. It is indeed. He's now providing Catling with a challenge. They go through the line. Holden from Hudson, Whitfield, Stout, Sumner, Charlie Gillam and George Daniels. Sumner, Gillam and Daniels lost places on that lap, and then Ben Brock rounded out the top 10. James Kell right at the back of the field, unfortunately for him. This is the battle again for 2nd. Oh, you're getting away again. I'll speak about that in just a second, because I've got some opinions on that. It looks like Oliver Lomax is out. He is. in the middle of the field there. I think it may have been, there you go, that's the confirmation. He's out of the race in the double apex. Alfie Baron Oxbury is some 19 seconds off the leader. Has there been a collision we've not seen on camera? That's Ollier, the leader, and he's already got 1.3 seconds. Now, I have an opinion about this, which I will share in a second. You can take it or leave it, you choose, but that's Ollier, and that's the lead he has over Catling in second, Holden third. Hudson going through in fourth place. He's on the 25 kart. This is a battle for ninth. You see Molly Pugh there, easy to pick out with the pink helmet. Pink, obviously, it's the only real man's colour, but Molly's wearing it proudly on her helmet. Battle for second, we're looking at Catling, Holden, Hudson and Whitfield. Whitfield lost some places on the opening tour. Then comes Stout in P6, then Sumner and Gillam going through the line. Ben Brock's in ninth, Molly Pugh up to 10th place now, so starting to make up places. Up to Hooton Hairpin, this is the battle for second. Sumner on the green suit, white helmet, going through the picture with, right behind him, Charlie Gillam. Is that battle for ninth, going up the inside is Doherty. Did he make that stick? No, he didn't. He looks like out of shot of the cameras. He's gone for 2 places and he's lost 2. So instead of going through to ninth, I think he's dropped back to something like 13th. We'll see as he goes through the line. That's Ollier going through. This is crazy. 2.3 second lead in 4 laps. Now, my opinion is, and I think all the drivers have to take this into account here, what is he doing early on that we're not? Catling in second place there was 2.3 off Ollier out front. Now, we know that in the first heat, as Molly Pugh is now leading that battle for ninth place, there she is in the pink helmet. We know in the first heat that a new lap record was set by Tom Holden towards the end of the race. But Ollier is winning the race in the first 3 or 4 laps. He's just got that raw pace early, and I can tell comparing his time to everybody else's, he's now got a 2.8 second lead. The drivers in this category here at Hooton Park have to be thinking, what's he doing setup-wise different from us that's winning him the race in the first 3 or 4 laps? I have an opinion. I'm not going to share it on this open mic, but I think I know what he's doing different, or I say what he's doing, what his very clever mechanic is doing. But I'm not going to share it with you all. It's up to you to think about it. He's winning the race. Let's see what his lead is now. Now, this lead, I expect, it's 3.2 seconds. That's crazy, and there's contact going through. That's Holden running right wide on the grass. He's gone for a place, and he's lost 5. Oh my goodness, the man from Helshaw in Lancashire goes for second and ends up dropping back. We've got more contact going up the inside. That's Morgan Hudson on the 25. 41 of Whitfield getting in the mix as well on the grass. Oh, great action. And this is helping, of course, the race leader, James Ollier. He had a 3.2 second lead at the end of the last lap. It's likely to be more than that now. Then they may close this gap. We'll have to keep an eye on that gap as the race goes on. Will these drivers get quicker? Well, it's actually 5.1 seconds now, but that's as a consequence of these drivers battling and just slowing each other up. Look at the lead he's got, it's incredible. 7 laps gone, with sort of 5 laps to go. 12 laps these heats, and then 14 laps the final coming up later. But Ollier's already got this one. Now that's what the drivers have to think. What's he doing? So battle for ninth. That's Pugh ahead of Gordon. George Daniels was picked out there. Ben Brock was in the mix, as was James Kell getting back into it. That's a good effort by James Kell, by the way, because if you remember, he was off in the grass at the start as he was in Heat 1, but he's already made up a big amount of gap on those drivers in front. Going up the inside of Lewis Sumner was Tom Holden, so Holden's made a place back. Here comes the move for second place. That's Zane Stout on the 7. Coming side by side, you've got the 41 of Whitfield. Catling looking down the inside, but he'll get his nose chopped off, will he? No. Holds on to 4th place, but started the lap in 2nd, so he's lost a couple. Zane Stout there, started the lap in 3rd. He's up to 2nd, so that's Ollier going through. 35.984, fastest lap for Ollier. Here they come, the rest of them. It's Stout, Whitfield, Catling, Hudson and Holden now in 6th place ahead of Lewis Sumner. Behind them, you've got Charlie Gillam, Molly Pugh's up to 9th, and Ben Gordon rounding out the top 10 currently. This is that battle for 2nd place though. Zane Stout, who was off on the grass, don't forget, in the first heat, so finished further down the field than he would have liked, but he's putting right some of those wrongs and a second place finish here will give him a better grid position for the final. Don't forget the top 10 grid positions for the final. Score points, you're in the points in the top 10 for the grid, and you're in the points if you finish in the top 10 in the final. Lewis Sumner looking down the inside of Morgan Hudson, I think that was on the 25 kart, indeed it was. The name's on the left of the screen, update at the end of the lap, not during the lap, as the 41 goes up the inside and takes second place back. That's Dan Whitfield, goes from third back to second. Zane Stout drops back one now. That's the back marker. Alfie Barron Oxbury was off earlier in the race. That's Molly Pugh leading that battle for ninth again. Pugh from Gordon, and that's the spinner there. That is Archie Doherty, the man from Rochdale, spins himself out, and it's a long way back from there. Last lap then for James Ollier, comfortable victory once more, 7.2 seconds ahead of Whitfield. That's enhanced by the fact that the guys in second, third, fourth, fifth are battling, and they are slowing each other up. But don't forget what I said, guys. You've got to look at what Ollier is doing early. His lap times compared to everybody else, compare his to what all the other drivers are doing early on, and you will discover why he's getting away. You've got to think, what's he doing different from us? I think I know. It's not my place to mention it, but you've got to think about it. Whitfield comes through in second from Stout, Catling, Holden, Hudson, Charlie Gillam. Lewis Sumner loses a place on that last lap to Charlie Gillam. The next driver through the line should be Alfie Barron Oxbury, because he was off early in the race. There he is with Molly Pugh in the pink helmet, just holding on to ninth place from Ben Gordon. George Daniels makes up a place on James Kelly in that last lap to finish 11th. So it's Ollier from Whitfield, Stout, Catling, Holden, Hudson, Gillam, Sumner, Pugh and Gordon, the prime movers. Zane Stout made up 5 to finish 3rd. Molly Pugh made up 4 to finish 9th. And Ben Gordon made up 6 to finish in the top 10. That's the last of the junior heats. Next up is the last of the senior heats, heat 2 for senior Rotax. And again, the grid positions are based on the finishing positions in the earlier heat that hopefully you would have watched. Watch out for Troy Spencer in this one, because he was the fastest man on the track last time, but he didn't have track position. I think he started P8 if I remember rightly, finished P4. Watch him in this one. It will be interesting to see, can he convert that raw pace into a win in this one? We'll have to see, and if he does, then that will give him a decent grid position for the final coming up a little bit later in this programme. The remaining grid positions outside the top 10, look for Jack Hayes-Roberts, of course. He was off, and of course it means that he's starting. You see him there on the 88 kart right at the back, but he had the race lead in heat 1 before he had the mechanical failure. Down to turn 1, do we get through cleanly this time? Looks like we do we? Yes, it looks like they're all through there. A little bit of a clip on the inside curb. Rathbone it is that leads up to the Hooton hairpin, but not for long. And Leo Jackson takes the lead, and spinning off is the 103 car. That's Adam Cerner, the man from Elton in Cheshire, not far up the road from Ellesmere Port, but it's a long trip back up the field from there, frankly. So Leo Jackson it is that leads it on the 63 car as they sweep through the Wilson S's, out through Stanlow, the final turn. That's the championship leader pictured. Robbie Rathbone there in second place. Kinder is third from Spencer, Lee, Likens, Mackenzie Stevens is seventh. And rounding out the top 10, we've got Lewis Smith, Alexander Merzian and Curtis Harding. The man right at the back of the field, Alan Cerner, obviously spun off in Hooton hairpin. Troy Spencer pictured, set the fastest lap in heat 1. He's there in 4th place. He was 4th place last time, but don't forget, it was a mile behind in 4th place, so he never had a chance to convert that raw pace into something better. Oh, Robbie Rathbone spins it, championship leader. All his own work through the S's, no contact from behind. And he's going to drop, it looks like he's dropped down to about 13th place from second. Let's have another look. Well, he's taken a lot of curb. Leo Jackson doesn't take a lot of curb. Robbie has to take to the curb to avoid running into the back of Jackson. He's lucky there not to take out Callum Kinder behind him, or indeed Troy Spencer. If he'd have taken Spencer out, he'd have taken, I think, Tommy Lee out as well, or rather Christopher Likens behind him as well. So lucky to get away with that. I say get away with it. Robbie, you can see there, down in 13th place from second for the championship leader. That's going to impact on his grid position for the final, and as a consequence, directly, championship points. The man who's loving it is Leo Jackson, the race leader, the man from Wrexham. 3 laps in, sets the fastest lap, 36.856. He's got a 1.6 second lead. Is that enough to take the win? It should be, frankly. But Spencer's through the second from Kinder, and then Christus Likens there in 4th place. Now, I did say earlier on, Christus Likens won the 177 race back in October by a mile. Now, I'm not sure whether, because you have to be a certain weight to take part in that class. Now, whether or not he's lost weight during the winter or he just wants more competition, I don't know. If it's because he's joined the lighter 162 class because he wants competition, I applaud that absolutely, because he's a quality driver, make no mistake about it. So he might decide, you know what, I won that by too far. I'll give myself in some competition and race in the lighter weight 162 class. Fastest lap by Robbie Rathbone now. He's on a mission. He's got the red mist. There he is on the 8 kart, right at the back of that group there. Up the inside, that's Jack Hayes-Roberts. And Jack Hayes-Roberts, who had a mechanical failure when leading the race in Heat 1, started this one 16th. He's already up to 6th place. Incredible effort so far. Hayes-Roberts on the 88 through the S's one more time. He's basically made up more than half the field. Starting 16th, he's made up 10 places in just 4.5 laps. And it looks like he's not finished there either as they go through the line. Still Leo Jackson that leads it, and he's still got a 1.596 second lead over Troy Spencer. Callum Kinder keeping Spencer very honest. Lyken's still there in 4th. Mackenzie Stevens a further second back. There he is, Mackenzie Stevens. That is Jack Hayes-Roberts pictured. Now in P6, what a race here by Jack Hayes-Roberts. So don't forget, he led the first race before he had the mechanical failure. There he is, the 88 kart. Easy to spot with that green and black bodywork, green and black suit, white helmet. So Hayes-Roberts, we know he's got outright pace. We knew he had outright pace from last time. He's made up another place on that lap, by the way, up to 5th place. Just 3.9 seconds off the lead, having started 16th, don't forget. That is absolutely amazing. We'll have to see how that converts to a position in the final. We'll have to see where he starts the final. He's going to have his grid position will be impacted by the fact he didn't finish that first heat, so that will not help him, but we'll have to see how it works. That's the 21 kart going through the picture there. Troy Spencer in the blue suit, closely followed by Kinder. Are they closing the race leader? You bet they are. It was a almost 1.6 seconds of lead. They've just closed him by virtually certainly more than 4/10 on that lap. And then Likens is in 4th. He's going to come under pressure now from Roberts. Right behind him comes Mackenzie Stevens, then Lee, Harding, Smith, Merzian going through the picture there, rounding out the top 10, and Robbie Rathbone, the championship leader, went through in 11th. This is that battle for second place through the Wilson S's one more time, through Stanlow, the final turn on the circuit, called Stanlow because you've got the oil refinery right off to the left-hand side of the main straight here, down into turn 1. Likens certainly under pressure from Robert. Robertson's going to go through, surely. This is Christus Likens picked out. He's leading the battle for 4th, but not for long. He'll look up the inside here, Roberts, surely. Yeah, he does. Hayes-Roberts up the inside. Lovely clean move. And drops Christus back 1. Christus just has to resign himself to that. So starting P16 in this one, Heat 2, and Jack Hayes-Roberts now up to 4th place. I'm not sure he's going to get any further. I'm pretty sure he won't go any further than that with 8 laps gone and 4 remaining, but he will content himself by knowing that I've got the pace here to do something serious in the final. Talking about having the pace, look at the lead. It's been cut to 0.7. This is going right to the wire. We're on lap 9. There's basically 2.5 laps now remaining. The 63 kart leads it. There he is, with Troy Spencer in behind on the 21, and then Kinder in behind Spencer on the 53. They'll both be looking, if possible, to go past the race leader, and they may do that. It's going to be 2 laps to go as they go through the line this time. The lead was 0.7. What is it now as they go through? There's Jackson. It's 0.4. So they've closed by a third, but they've only got 2 laps left. Troy Spencer sets the fastest lap now, 35.871 on the 21 kart. As they come up, they've got a back marker in the way. Now, how you deal with traffic is a big part of karting, especially on a short circuit like this, 850 metres or so. Jackson on the inside and contacts the back marker and drops himself back 2 places as a consequence. Disaster for Leo Jackson. There's the replay. The 26 car is James Barrett. Jackson runs into the side of him. Up the inside is Troy Spencer. Says thank you very much, and Callum Kinder gets himself an early Easter present. With a name like Kinder, I had to mention Easter. If you're the manufacturer of Kinder Eggs, by the way, why aren't you sponsoring Callum Kinder? It's an obvious no-brainer. We're on the last lap. It's Spencer from Kinder, 21 against 53. Leo Jackson's too far back to do anything about it now. Be disappointed, Leo, but he's got to take the positives out of this race, this heat at least. He's had good pace early on. Let's see how he converts that in the final. Out of Stanlow for the last time. It is going to be Spencer that takes the win. And indeed he does, but he doesn't get the checkered flag. The starter has missed it. He's waving the checkered flag now, but to the wrong drivers. Spencer should have had the checkered flag. He's missed that. So on what should be the slowing down lap, frankly, the top three are probably racing anyway, as you see from the official results. It all turned out okay in the end. Spencer from Kinder and Jackson. Jack Hayes-Roberts made up 12 places in that final. Christopher Likens finished 5th. Mackenzie Stevens was 6th from Tommy Lee. Curtis Harding, Louis Merica in 9th, made up 6 places. Robbie Rathbone lost 9 from his original grid position and finished that race in 10th place. We're straight into the junior final, and the grid positions look like this. Ollier from Whitfield, Catling, Holden, Stout, Gillam, then Morgan Hudson, Lewis Sumner, George Daniels and James Kell. That's a good effort by James Kell, I have to say that, to get 10th place on the grid, and that's a championship point, by the way. Top 10 score championship points, as they will in the race. Watch out for Molly Pugh again in this one. She's having a start, P12. Look for her in the pink helmet. You just see her going under the drone there. We've got extra camera angles on this one, not least the cable coming to come through turn 2 at the gate. James Kell negotiated turn 1, but he hasn't negotiated turn 2 this time. That's Molly Pugh in front of the onboard cameraman Lewis Sumner. James Kell off in heat 1 turn 1, off in heat 2 turn 1, and now he's off in the final through turn 2. So he may have earned himself a top 10 grid position for this final, but he's already down at the back of the field. That will be 17th place, I believe, for James Kell as they sweep through the S's for the first time. That's Molly Pugh in front of us, pink helmet, easy to spot. Starting P10, she's now up to P7. Sumner looking down the inside through turn 1 at Vauxhall. Out to turn 2 at the gates. Tom Holden there in 4th place. Look at the lead Ollie has got again. I said this earlier on, 1.2 seconds on the first lap. He's basically winning the race in the first few laps, and he's doing it again. What is he doing that the other drivers aren't? And Pugh looks down the inside of the 59 car and makes that stick. That's Molly Pugh holding on to the place, at least, on Charlie Gillam on the 59. We're on board with Sumner. That is Gillam in front of us, with Molly Pugh in front of Charlie Gillam. There they are as they go down through the start line. It looks like we've got Ben Brock off in the background. Through turn 1, we're back on board with Lewis Sumner up the inside. Sumner it's up the inside of the pair, and Molly Pugh gets Sumner on the switchback. Oh no, I want to see Molly Pugh wag a finger. If she would put her right finger in the air now to the onboard camera and wag her finger to say, no boys, not today, that would have just completed that move perfectly on TV. Wagging a finger to the lads saying, not today boys, not today. That was a great move by Molly Pugh to get that places back. I'm losing my voice already. Sumner's going to have another look down the inside, and does so though through Vauxhall, so Sumner does take the spot in the end. The man from Southport up to 7th, dropping Pugh back to 8th as they come through turn 2 at the gate, up to Hooton hairpin one more time. Sumner, green suit, white helmet, easy to spot. There's James Kell getting back in the mix. What a day James Kell has had. If he can just get through the first 2 turns, it'll be interesting to see what he could do. I'm looking forward to seeing him race next time. That's Zane Stout picked out, going through the picture. He's in 6th place currently as the rest of the carts sweep through the S's. Kell in the light blue suit, keep an eye on him. Let's see what he can do from there. I'm expecting he might end up finishing in front of the drivers, 5 or 6 drivers in front of him. That's the battle he's got as the 87 car looks up the inside for a move. That's Tom Holden going for 3rd and getting 3rd. Drops Alan Catling back one. Catling won the Clubman event here a couple of weeks ago. That's the leader, James Ollier. He has a 2.8 second lead after 4 laps, not as much as he had in the second heat earlier on. Charlie Gillam running P9, going underneath us, picked out. That's Charlie. He's not been racing that long either, a few years for Charlie, I think, here at Hooton Park. Here comes Kell up the inside for a move, and you can see the racecraft he's got. If he can just get through the first 2 turns next time in April, let's keep an eye out for James Kell next time in April, because he's clearly got a lot of pace. There he is on the 52 kart, light blue suit. That's Sumner, Pugh, Gillam, Doherty, Gordon, Kell's in there as well from George Daniels. Alfie Barron Oxbury is about 3.5 seconds back of this group, but less experience for Alfie. Wycherek is on a mini-max, not a junior Rotax, and then Ben Brock we saw off in the final turn, and Oliver Lomax has had more dramas in this one as well. Ollier now sets the fastest lap once more, 36.3, extends his lead to 2.9 seconds. Over Whitfield in second, holding his third. We've not seen much of the leaders in this one. Most of the battles in the midfield, it has to be said. Some great battles, and this is one of them. The 22 kart, Ben Gordon, followed by George Daniels, and then James Kell in behind. That is that battle for effectively 11th place, but top 10 score championship points, so they're outside the points in this battle for 11th at the moment, but championship point looms right ahead of them. Some are getting away from Pugh, Gillam, Doherty, Gordon, Daniels, Kell, and then Alfie Barron Oxbury a bit further back. That is James Kell in that light blue suit, easy to spot, light blue suit, white helmet. Here comes Pugh in the pink helmet. She's easy to spot as well. She's come through turn 1, through turn 2 at the gate, onto the back straight, up to Hooton hairpin. Sumner in the green suit, white helmet. Then comes Pugh, Gillam, Doherty, Gordon. Looking up the inside was George Daniels. He can't get it done though, and in trying to make up a place, loses one. And here comes Kell down the outside and does himself a brace coming out of the hairpin. So Kell now on the move and showing the sort of quality that he's got. Again, I said earlier, I am looking forward to April for James Kell to come back. He's an ex-kart driver, he's in a really good team. And now we're starting to see the sort of quality he's got as we look at a move there on Adam Catling. Catling was in 5th, he's just dropped to 6th as Zane Stout has gone from 6th to 5th. That's the 25 kart, Morgan Hudson. Oliver Lomax in the blue suit, white helmet, just gone through the picture on the 26 kart. Of course, he's had the problem earlier in the race, so he is actually in 17th place. And he's got drivers, faster drivers coming up behind him. Fastest lap set by Dan Whitfield in this one on the 41 kart. So look at this now, Ollier one heat 2 by a mile. I did say he gets away early and then they start clawing him back as the other drivers set faster laps. So again, for all the other drivers, if you're paying attention, what is he doing? What is his mechanic doing that allows him to get away early? You have to ask that question and try and answer it yourselves. I think I know. Clearly it's nothing to do with engine power or anything like that, but we'll have to see. Off in the background is Oliver Lomax. He's run wide coming out of Stanlow. Ollier now sets the fastest lap again, 36.0. So he's taking that back off Whitfield, and it's back to 3 seconds the lead. From the drone, going through Stanlow one more time. Fastest lap's just been set, by the way, by Tom Holm, 35.979. So again, as Kell goes down the inside of Pugh for 9th spots, that's 4 championship points. Pugh still in the points at the moment, top 10. But for how long as Archie Doherty looks up the inside and takes the spot? Does he? That's Doherty, he's got it, I think. There he is, picked out. That is the man from Rochdale, so he is in the points, and Molly Pugh now outside the points, looking up the inside of Doherty, but can't get it done, gets her nose well and truly chopped off. That is Archie Doherty, started P15 up to 10th and in the points. Top 10, score points, 20 points for the win. If you come 10th, you get 2, and there's 2 points between each position. So in the points is the 51 kart now, Molly now just outside the points. That's Wycherek going through on the Mini-Max kart in the 33. He's the only Mini-Max in the field, so he's basically on a test day. Championship leader on the last lap. James Ollier got it done early. He's maintained a 3-second gap, basically. Other drivers are faster than him in the field. As the race progresses, what's he doing? I hate to keep butting on about it, but what is he and his mechanic particularly doing that others aren't doing, that wins him the race on the first 3 laps? Look at your lap times compared to his. He is much quicker than anybody, and that's where the race is being won. Talk about winning the race. Ollier it is that takes a comfortable victory, gets the checkered flag, bit of a celebration. Whitfield comes through in second from Holden in third. Holden didn't provide the challenge even Ollier thought he might do. And then Hudson's through for 4th, Zane Stout 5th, Adam Catling 6th. most of the battles were in this midfield. Here it comes through here, and it's raging right to the line. Sumner goes through in 7th, and is it Gillam? It is, from James Kelly the points in 9th. Archie Doherty takes the last championship points on offer, 2 points for coming 10th from Pew Daniels. Ben Gordon came next from Alfie Barron Oxbury. The top 10 officially, though, look like this. Now, Zane Stout went through the line in 5th place, but he's been excluded after the race for ignoring a technical flag for his rear bumper being loose. So everybody below 5th basically moves up a place. Sumner, Gillam, Kell, Doherty and Molly Pugh ends up in 10th place. That's the last championship point scoring position. So she scores a couple of points for that, but the top 10 in the championship look like this. James Ollier with the maximum 60 points after 2 rounds from Dan Whitfield and Morgan Hudson. Of the rest of the drivers, Zane Stout's disqualification in that final impacting his total score after round 2. Officials really look very favourably on drivers that ignore flags. Coming out for the senior Rotax final, that's the 81 car, Lewis Smith, and Troy Spencer from pole on the formation lap. Chucks it off, all his own work on the formation lap. Now, the Robbie rule is not in effect at the moment. If it was, he'd have to start the race last. We have to bring that rule in. It would just create so much fun, to be honest. But anyway, he's lucky. He's got his position back, as you can see. These are the grid positions for the final. Spencer, Kinder, Jackson and Rathbone, all 4 of them have led either in Heat 1 or Heat 2 at some point during the weekend so far. This one promises to be an absolute barn burner. Don't go and make the tee right now, you could miss it. We've got a 360 camera on Callum Kinder for this one, and he's lost what, 4 or 5 places through turn 1 down to turn 2 at the gate. Manages just about to hold on to what he's got. Talking about holding on to it, the camera looks like it's so dissatisfied with that start, it's turned itself off. He wants nothing more to do with this race. Camera, no more. Robbie Rathbone was pictured there. He's the championship leader coming into this final. Will he be the championship leader after it? We'll have to see. Troy Spencer from pole leads it. Up a couple of places is Leo Jackson to second as the rest of the cart stream through the Wilson S's. So through the line, Spencer, Jackson, Rathbone, Mackenzie Stevens up to 4th. Christos Likens is still there in 5th. Curtis Harley's made up places in 6th. Kinder's there in 7th. Then Lee Merzian and Jack Hayes-Roberts now rounding out the last championship points paying position in 10th place. So Troy Spencer on the 21, 63 Jackson, 80s Rathbone. Then comes Mackenzie Stevens, easy to spot Mackenzie even from the drone red suit. There's only 2 drivers in red suits. One is Stevens, one is Merzian. Stevens has been the driver that consistently is further ahead. Jack Hayes-Roberts, what can he do from his starting position here? We know he's got the pace. He's going to be a race winner in this series this year, but was leading the earlier heat, don't forget, before he had the mechanical failure. He come under the cable cam once more, up to Hooton hairpin, and here comes Jackson for the lead and gets the lead that he had in Heat 2 back. Can he hold on to it this time though? Trading rubber with Troy Spencer is Robbie Rathbone. They've got to be careful they don't connect the tyres, because that will see them both out. Callum Kinder can just make out, made up a place on that last lap, back from 7th to 6th. Likers in front of him is 5th, and then Mackenzie Stevens in 4th. Here come the leading 6 through turn 1. Kinder down the inside, has he got it done? No, can't quite get past. Leaders through turn 2 at the gate then. That's the top 6, and you can see the lead they've got over the chasing group. It's quite a significant one, quite frankly. 1.2 seconds separate the top 6, and it's a further 1.7 back from 6th to 7th. Again, as we said earlier, only the top 10 on the grid for the final, and the top 10 finishers in this final score championship points. And the way things have panned out, that championship table is going to make for some interesting reading, I think, at the end of this final. Jack Hayes-Roberts not making the moves I thought he might. Talking about making moves, Troy Spencer makes a move for the lead, takes it, and Jackson drops back a 3rd as Robbie Rathbone goes through, and now Mackenzie Stevens goes through, and just like that, Leo Jackson went through the line in 1st, and by the Hooton hairpin, he's down to 4th place. This is the best we've seen, well, best position we've seen Mackenzie Stevens in, now on the 19 car in 3rd place in the first 2 rounds through the S's again. Jackson, Spencer, Rathbone, Stevens, Kinder, top 5, and then Likens, Harding, Jack Hayes-Roberts still there in 8th. Well, we've expected him to be a bit closer. He's getting closer now, going through the line. 2.5 seconds off the lead. He's set the fastest lap as he got under the cable cam one more time. 36.1 for Jack Hayes-Roberts. So here he comes into the Hooton hairpin one more time. Big lock up. That's the way he likes to break into that hairpin. Some drivers like to lock up the rear wheels, get the front end turned in, and then power through the corner. And that seems to be the way of it for Jack Hayes-Roberts. Through the S's one more time into Stanlow, the final turn. Jack Hayes-Roberts has a look up the inside of Christers Likens, but can't get it done. Still there in 7th place. They go through the line, but only just. He's going to put the move on him fairly soon, I'm sure. And he sets the fastest lap. Jack Hayes-Roberts, they come under the cable cam one more time and up to Hooton hairpin. Troy Spencer under extreme pressure, as is Christers Likens, and succumbs to that pressure as Jack Hayes-Roberts on the 88 picked out. Goes past him and immediately gaps him 10-12 kart lengths. Curtis Harding on the 32, currently P8, started P8, so he's not made or lost a place. Currently P9 is Alexander Merzian, he started P10, so he's made up one in that red suit as they go through the line one more time. Pressure for Troy Spencer. He's withstood the pressure all the way so far, but it's only halfway. As he went through the line that time, they're halfway through the 14-lap final. 7 laps in. Now, what can Jack Hayes-Roberts do from here? He's got a bit of a gap to make up on the man in front. That is Leo Jackson now in 5th place. But I think he's likely to do that. The pace he's got, he's going to close Leo Jackson at some point. Leo might be a little bit disappointed with this 5th place. He's led the race and now down in 5th. Not exactly the sort of result that he was looking for. Callum Kinder there in 4th, likewise. They go under the cable cam one more time. Jack Hayes-Roberts sets another fastest lap, 35.790. And Robbie Rathbone looking up the inside for the lead, but can't quite get that done. And neither can Leo Jackson, who's looking for the spot on Callum Kinder. And they are about to come under pressure now from Jack Hayes-Roberts. Clearly the fastest man on the track, but he hasn't got track position. It would have been very interesting had he won that first heat instead of having that DNF, the mechanical failure in heat 1. You have to think he'd be starting this race on pole, and who knows, might have cleared off. He's certainly got the pace to win it, no doubt about it. Under the cable cam through turn 2 at the gate one more time, up to Hooton hairpin. The lead pair now gapping the man in 3rd, Mackenzie Stevens, with Kinder and Jackson right behind. So what's the gap? 1.497, 1.5 seconds almost from leader back to 3rd place. So it looks like it will be between these two, Spencer or Rathbone, but can Spencer withstand the pressure? And look at Jack Hayes-Roberts now in 6th place, but he's going to turn that into 5th sometime very soon. Surely they go through the line, 10 gone, 4 to go. It's no way that Jack Hayes-Roberts is going to win it from there. Could he get a podium though? Maybe, but I've got a feeling it might be just too much. Here comes Rathbone for the lead and goes past Troy Spencer. Has he held on to it though? Let's have a look. No, Spencer's got him on the switchback through the double apex. Still Spencer from Rathbone then, and Kinder is through to 3rd. Past Mackenzie Stevens up in the hairpin, and look at this, he's already dropped Stevens by 2 or 3 car lengths, and here comes Leo Jackson, and there goes Jack Roberts, and just like that, on that lap, Mackenzie Stevens has gone from 3rd as he drops down to 6th. Kinder, Jackson and Roberts going past, Hayes-Roberts going past, I beg your pardon. Mackenzie Stevens now down to 6th, then Likens, Harding, Merzian and Tommy Lee now in 10th. And they are the championship point scorers in this final so far as things stand. But still 2.5 laps to go for the leaders. So Spencer lost it, but not for long. Kept his nerve, got Robbie Rathbone on the switchback coming out of the hairpin, slightly out of shot of the cameras. But he's held on. This is a fantastic drive, I have to say, by Troy Spencer. He's had the pace pretty much all day. Under the cable cam once more, through the gate at turn 2. Now, what can Callum Kinder do about their advantage? Look at the way he's pulling away from the carts behind. So Callum Kinder, now he's been released, has got some serious pace coming through the double apex, and he's going to be right on them. Look at that, incredible! He's made up 12 car lengths in just the one turn there. Truly, truly astonishing with just over a lap and change to go. The starter holds out the last lap board. Spencer gets it from Rathbone. Kinder right there as well. And the drivers in behind may get closer. Jackson, Hayes Roberts and Mackenzie Stevens. Out of turn 2, up to Hooton hairpin. And Robbie Rathbone's just won Troy Spencer the race by defending. Into the hairpin. That would have slowed his momentum. He was on the wrong line. And look at that. Troy Spencer's got 5 or 6 cut lengths. That should be enough to win this race. And Rathbone, frankly, just won it for him by settling effectively for second place. He is getting closer, but he won't be close enough to go through the turn. It is going to be Spencer that takes it, and this is a fantastic day. A great drive for Troy Spencer. Is he happy about it? You bet he is. Troy the Trojan Spencer takes it from Robbie Rathbone, Callum Kinder, Jackson, Hayes Robertson, Stevens. And then rounding out the top 10, as we'll see from the official results, to make sure there's no exclusions, it is Curtis Harding in 7th from Christers Likens, Alexander Merzian and Tommy Lee. 9 places made up by Jack Hayes Roberts in that final. If only he hadn't had the mechanical failure in Heat 1, what would he have done? The championship points look like this, and Troy Spencer is the new championship leader on 56 points from Robbie Rathbone on 55. Leo Jackson there in 3rd place on 43. Jack Hayes Roberts on 37. Then comes Kinder, Stevens, Harding, Lee, Likens and Lucas Miles rounding up the top 10. Miles not here this weekend, and Likens missed the opening round. A small grid turned up for the Rotax 177 final for the heavier drivers, but it can be competitive this. James Dunn won by a mile last month, but he's not had it all his own way so far today. Martin Ingham's got pole, we're on board with Peter Abbott, and that's Ian Prestwich in front of us now. Through turn 2 at the gate, we're going to stay on board with Peter Abbott through the entirety of this opening lap. That's the Hooton hairpin, one of the great overtaking opportunities here. Little kink on the left, there it is, just past the kink, down to the double apex, classic double apex corner, 1 curb. There's 2nd curb there with a little bit of a straight in between, running a little bit wide there, Peter. Through the S, you should be taking that 1st curb right over the middle with your cart, straight over the top of that 1st curb. That's James Ollier's line in juniors, and if James Ollier does that, you should be doing that in all the other classes, particularly the junior and senior classes. Martin Ingham, here's the man from Wigan that leads it then. Out of the gate at turn 2, the lap record is held by James Dunn, 37.065. Will that go in this final? We'll have to see. The conditions have certainly improved track-wise during the day. The damp early conditions have given way to what is quite a mild day, to be honest. It was freezing cold the last few days, obviously a lot of snow lying around. You wouldn't think so looking at the track conditions here today. It's quite mild, yet 50 or 60 miles from here there's enough snow on the ground to make it really difficult for people to get off the driveway and leave where they live to get here this weekend. As I say, you wouldn't think so looking at the conditions. It's really mild now here at Hooton Park in Ellesmere Port, but just 50 or 60 miles from here, it has stopped people coming this weekend, hence in some cases the slightly smaller grids than we would have expected. Back on board with Peter Abbott through the double apex. Close this, isn't it, between Dunn. Dunn's being closed here by Prestwich, and he's right on the back of him. Oh, and Dunn's out! The championship leader pulls over. That's why he was slow. He's obviously had some sort of mechanical failure. Something was failing on the kart. Fastest lap set by Martin Ingham as he come through turn 1 at Vauxhall. Turn 2, here is the gate. On the straight now up to Hooton hairpin. Will Abbott have a look up the inside? Not close enough. Can't quite get there. So James Dunn, the championship leader, is out now. The interesting dynamic here is, although the top 10 in finals on the grid and in the finals score championship points, if you DNF, you don't score any championship points. That's massive for James Dunn. And now, I mean, had he just finished in 6th place, kept going, it would have been, well, interesting to see where he lay in the championship at the end of this. But now he's certainly going to lose the championship lead, no doubt, because he's scoring 0 points from this final. He'll have points that he scored from P2 on the grid positions for the final. You score 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top 10. In this case, obviously, top 6 only. But if you DNF, you don't score any points. So James Dunn is going to score 0 here and lose the championship lead as a consequence. That is quite incredible. You can see his kart sitting there in the middle of Stanlow on the inside with no yellow flags there, not needed because it's on the inside of the turn, not the outside of the turn. If it was on the outside of the turn, there would be yellow flags waving. Ian Prestwich sets the fastest lap again, 37.170 through turn 2 at the gate. Still Roger Moore. No Roger Moore jokes this weekend. If I do one more Roger Moore joke, I'm sure he'll beat the living daylights out of me. Anyway, that's enough for now. If you want a kitchen fitting, by the way, a master bespoke kitchen, just Google Roger Moore, and apparently he'll give you a 20% discount if you say you heard it on the karting programme. Other master kitchen fitters are available, obviously, just not as good as Roger. My attempt to get a free kitchen is now officially over. No more from me. That is the leader, Martin Ingham from Wigan. Ian Prestwich in second. Peter Abbott still there in third. Still suffering some mechanical issues. That's costing him time on Prestwich. You see Prestwich is getting away from him through the double apex. Got a comfortable lead now in second. So not much going on in this one apart from that battle for fourth and fifth. That's the battle on the track we should be watching really, because this battle here is not really a battle. Ingham doing a bit of a James Dunn from last month, clearing off in front. Prestwich, it was close last month between second to sixth. It was a real great five-way battle all the way through, but a bit more of a procession this month apart from the two in fourth and fifth. Still Moore and Booth battling for that position. The JC Motorsport driver it is, Martin Ingham. In the 83 car, it's going to take a comfortable victory here unless he has some sort of mechanical gremlin. So Peter Abbott might be getting a little bit closer again to Ian Prestwich. Let's have a look at the times. Last time the gap was 3.2 back to the leader, 2.1 and 3.2. Now 2 seconds to 3.1. So Prestwich has closed the leader by a tenth, but not enough to cause any worries for the Wigan man. Prestwich with the fastest lap, 37.072. Oh, we're on board with Abbott, and Abbott's got a problem. Hand in the air. It's all over for Peter Abbott. The mechanical issues, the electrical issues he's been having have come to a sudden end for him. The kart is just slowing and stopping, and unfortunately, and as we said before with James Dunn, that means because he's going to DNF in this final, no championship points for Peter Abbott. That's a disaster, and we've got a new lap record in the class, 37.047 for Ian Prestwich. He's in second place, and that's Sam Booth. Spins himself out, the Manchester man, out through turn one. Taps the steering wheel, not happy about that, and that was all she wrote basically in this one. Senior Rotax 177, the results look like this. The interesting thing, as we'll see from the championship points, as I said before, neither Abbott or Dunn, because they DNF'd, will score championship points from this final. They'll get championship points for the grid positions, but not the final. Consequently, the championship leader after round one, James Dunn, drops to fourth. It's Sam Booth, despite spinning out on the penultimate tour, who has the championship lead moving forward by just 1 point from Ian Prestwich, with Roger Moore now sitting in third place. A quick roundup of the results in other classes not featured in this programme. In the Bambino class, it was Toby Cannon, after his misfortune on the final lap last month, who came out on top all day in both heats and the final over Hugo Williams, the novice driver improving his overall lap times as the day progressed. In Honda Cadet, it was Red Lind who dominated once more. The championship leader after round one, winning every heat and final, despite getting caught up in an early race collision in heat one, coming back to take the lead on the final lap with this move, passing Tom Nichols, who finished just 14 hundredths of a second ahead of Riley Blakemore on the line in the final to take second, with Blakemore third. The relative novice James Vout was fourth, as he took advantage of the track time to hone his developing race skills. Look out for James in the future, he's going to be a player. In Micromax, it was no surprise to see Bray Williamson taking the victory over Austin Gresney in second. We hope to feature the Micromax race fully in the next programme, with a Bentley Motorsport branded suit going to the winner in this class. Who is my driver of the day? Well, look no further than Jack Hayes-Roberts on the 88 kart in Senior Rotax, making up places in Heat 2 and the final, despite his mechanical failure in Heat 1. Great effort by Jack. If you want to race with us next month, get in touch, or if you want to find out more about the sport, call the number on the screen. I'll see you again soon.